President, thank you. Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today. Senator Rand Paul said he's going to hold a vote on holding him in contempt of Congress. Do you think Dr. Fauci should face repercussions for this?
Well, I watched the whole thing today, but more importantly, I was a part of the whole Fauci. I inherited Fauci. He was here from the 1980s, so I had him for a period of time. And I disagreed with him on a lot. I would have had to close down the whole country if I listened to him. I went the Federalist way, which is basically let the governors decide. And generally speaking, the Republican governors did very well. The Democrat governors did not very well. But Fauci wanted to have nobody wearing masks, if you remember, and then everybody had to wear 5 masks, as many masks as you could get. I mean, he made a lot of mistakes. And he wasn't a big factor for me. He was a very big factor for Biden. And if you remember, even though we were prime time in terms of that whole disaster of COVID, fewer in the Trump administration than in the Biden administration. We ran it well. Operation Warp Speed was talked about as being one of the great success stories anywhere in the world, actually. And we did a good job. But many more people died under Biden than died in the Trump administration from COVID. COVID was a disaster, but Fauci did not help.
Do you think that the DOJ should reopen the investigation into the AutoPen, specifically pertaining to Fauci?
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the AutoPen, because the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful. They say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed. He probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the AutoPen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the AutoPen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
I wish I had never taken that COVID vaccine. It was a scare tactic anyway.
And you know, this is always our dumbass women. I mean, the Edomite woman too. But we're focusing on the Israelite woman. There's always these women. The Lord told them to go right, they go left.
Before I think about it, because back when COVID-19 came out, we was all upset and scared, didn't know what to do. And when it came a time where everybody could go back to work and you had to go to work, you couldn't stay at home anymore, my mom agreed to come and live with us to take care of the kids. So one of our kids didn't have to go to school and the other one didn't have to go to daycare, because they said if you could have a way to keep your kids at home so they wouldn't run the risk of being exposed, that was the best thing to do. And also at the same time, if you're around elderly people, which my mom was over 80 then, that you would have to take the vaccine, especially when you went to work around a whole bunch of people you might be exposed to. You don't want to give it to any elderly people. So it was a scare tactic. But as I can reflect back, because I even had to have a procedure done with my thyroid where my husband couldn't go because they only allowed you to go in. As you know, you couldn't have people going in with you when all this COVID was going on. So they actually had to get a sample out from my thyroid and stuck a needle in my throat this long, and I didn't have anybody there but me. I was terrified.
And the crazy part about it is Jake was still trusting these people. They were still trusting him. At the end of the day, they still don't find no problem with Esau. It is just one-off situation. Not knowing that this is a race of people that have this type of hatred towards you. They would never see it that way.
And I was in a lot of pain, but I had to drive there by myself and come home by myself. But when I finally went to my doctor, after we got the results back, thank God, for the thyroid was not cancerous, I asked her what she felt about that vaccine. At this time, me and my husband had already taken it. But she said she advised none of her patients to take that vaccine because it was not enough research done on it. That was one thing. And she said, what better antibodies?
Oh, that was research on it. It was research on it. It was just a Depop joint. It came out that they had them shits already ready since 2015. Like, they ain't just concoct a bunch of shit and put it out there the next day. They already had this strategically position because they was already speaking of a pandemic hitting this side of the world in 2020 back in the 80s. So they already had it already set up. They just told you people that it was an accelerated push to push you into out of urgency to play on your fear and your sense of urgency. That's why they told you it was an emergency ordeal. It was experimental nonetheless because they put a bunch of shit in it, but it was specifically concocted to fuck people up, and it took them some time to do it. All right, it just wasn't overnight. They just pushed that emergency shit on you because they wanted to play on your fear. That's what that was about. You know, and like I said, you went down there and you believed the devil. So this is the results you get.
Could your body have then to catch the COVID, and your body will build up natural antibodies to fight it off. She also informed me that only one of her patients had passed away from COVID because the scare tactic was that the doctors were going to keep unalive you and put you on ventilators, and they didn't know what they were doing. And she said she had things to treat COVID with. That was another thing. Well,
yeah, something called ivermectin. It's good at removing parasites. You notice they pulled out all that off the market. Now you go online, you find ivermectin like for dogs and parasites and shit. But in order for you to get it, as far as to take it orally as a human, I don't know if they put it back on the market, but it requires some type of prescription. And doctors are very reluctant to prescribe it to you because they knew that can be the telltale to get rid of it. So, I mean, that was just what reports were saying. But, you know, do it at your own risk.
It's forward when I think about it, and I think she felt some way about everything that was going on because she's no longer practicing anymore. I had to find another doctor, and she's doing missionary work. So with all this stuff going on, it just doesn't surprise me that it was a hoax, and the government now is always trying to cover things up. And they were asking the man behind this COVID stuff to at least apologize because he knew it wasn't enough information given on it, and a lot of people could be affected by it.
And all of them are in on it. He was just the fall guy. You think them Rand Paul, them Congress and senators, you think they feel bad for you people? No, they don't. They don't feel bad for you because at the end of the day, they always in on it. Okay, 90% of your Congress is bought off by Apex, which is a bunch of lobbyists that hire small hats. So they always in on it to some degree. They just have what they call controlled opposition to get the masses to choose sides on what they attempt to do. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You people never had a choice in voting or anything of that nature.
I don't know about you. I don't have many regrets in life. The only regret I have is taking the dumbest COVID vaccine. The dumbest thing I've ever done. I still regret it to this day.
You see? But our people, they trust in oppression as usual. They gonna trust the white man, and that's why their ass gonna be destroyed with him. They would never take credibility from men like us because we don't look the part. Oh, y'all crazy. Y'all just making it up. And we was getting blamed. We was getting cursed out. People was like, oh, y'all the reason why. They blamed it on the people that didn't get it as being super spreaders. But yet the people that got it was shitting on everybody. They tried to demonize us. People looking at you like you crazy. Going to a grocery store without a mask on, you'll be ready to, you'll catch a case. I mean, I witnessed it. I was going to the store. People was fighting over toilet paper. People wearing that shit on their face. It was a whole mess, man. And a chick I was dealing with at that time, only reason why she didn't take it is because of me. You know what I'm saying? And I was speaking and I was like, look, don't go down there and put that shit in you. Because if I wasn't in the picture, she would have took that shit. Women are simple. But by me being in the truth and trying to teach the household, I'm like, man, don't take that shit. Don't believe in that. And a lot of sisters and brothers and so forth, families that's immediate drawn under their roof, they didn't take it because of the brothers, man. So before you people try to take credit and give credit into yourselves, give credit to the men of the Lord. A lot of you would have shot that goddamn shot if you didn't listen, if the men of the Lord didn't intervene. So let's get that straight.